I even heard you say on a podcast that the Spectra fiber that you use is stronger than Kevlar.
Yes,
Is that true?
that is correct. So yeah, to create our first product, the Nomad, which is the barefoot socks. And now I have zero background in shoe designing. I have no idea. I don't know how to design a shoe. My background, my professional background is an architect. So I would train. I went to school to become an architect. That's what I did. I know design office building. But at the time when I embarked on this journey to create a shoe, I had zero knowledge about shoe. I don't know how to design. I don't even know what to call the certain part of the shoe. So at the beginning, what I did was, I went to a local art and craft store and buys a bunch of foam that people use to make art and craft. I take that and I cut
Mm.
the different pieces and I glue to the bottom of my socks. And that's where I decided, all right, I'm gonna take off my shoe and I'm glued to the sock and walk around with this thing. At the beginning, I said, well, my feet are weak. I'm not going to walk around with my socks all day. It's going to hurt like crazy. So that's what I did. So that's why. So I went out and cut about a bunch of foam, and I go to the gym. I would give out to everybody at the gym or the trainer, and hey, there's a little adhesive, and I'll try that. Try this whole new barefoot thing. Um, Everybody think that I'm crazy. I'm pretty sure they end up not doing it, but with me, I want to see if that something worked. So I went and did that, and then I decided that maybe I can make this thing domestically. So I went out and contact a sock company. I would spend hour and hour on the phone calling everyone. So along the North Carolina and South Carolina, there used to be a textile hub. So I looked them up and I found a company. And literally, I was trying to call in this guy. His name is Brian Mayo, a company called Mayo Knitting in North Carolina. For literally 3 months,
Mm.
finally, he picked up the phone and I told him, hey, I want to make this sock shoe, somewhere in between. He said, at that point, I make a really primitive or very, prototype that I made by binding a bunch of stuff and glue it together. And he said, all right, well, come on down and see what we can do for you. So I went out and met with him. At this point, I have no idea how even different material they use for the socks. So after working with him for a couple months, he was able to help me make the socks, and that's the first part. And now I said, all right, well, we need to add the rubber to the bottom of this. So I didn't know how to, so I do a lot of research, and I found a company who make this machine. This machine are designed to make silk sprinting for shirt, for logo. And I called them up. I told them that I want to do this, rubber coating at the bottom because I would figure out that I want to make this
Mm.
product domestically and I can make it in my garage. So I called them. I found a company in California. I flew there a couple of times, talked to the guy, the owner, and at the beginning, everything he's thinking you fucking crazy, man. This, what are we? I mean, this is
That's
you
funny.
own a, you're making a footwear product with a machine. So after convincing multiple times, and he decided, all right, well, it'll cost you 20K. So at that point, I decided, all right, we go all in with this one to see how this worked. So I was laid off from my job at the time. I was working as a director of engineering for a company, and my company got acquired, and they went in, they changed the whole management team. So they will let me go because I want to bring their own people. Long story short, so at that point, I said, all right, well, I don't have a job anymore. So I started this whole thing. I have the socks. Now I need to figure out how to make it. So I went in and cashed out my 401k money, took 20K and bought a machine. I bought a machine.
Takes a lot of
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. At this point, that's why going back to the whole story growing up and escaping and all. I said, I risked my life already. So what else to do this? So I went all in and I got a machine installed in my garage. I got an air compressor hooked up. Electrician came over, hooked up air compressor, and here I am. So I have this custom made, jig that can apply the coating, which he did a little coating rub out on what you to the bottom of the sock. So I would spend hours and hours in my garage. I have the compressor set up. I have this machine that has six rotating arm. One arm, the first operation, apply the coating, and then the second operation apply the dot, and then go to this another arm will heat it up and dry it. Sounds simple, but it's not. So I would spend hour and hour. So what I learned that the the socks are made of material called polyester. And then the ink I used at the time, which I didn't know any better. The ink they used were for clothing apparel, which is not the same type ink or rubber, if I call now, at the bottom of the shoe because it's two different material. The one is more
Mm.
industrial grade, the other one more just on your shirt. So I try to take something that for apparel and try to put at the bottom of the socks and then try to have people work out in these. So I would spend God know hours and hours in my garage, 10 to 12 hours a day working it. And then what I learned is it would take a certain temperature for the ink to heat up in order to cure properly. But there's a then within that temperature frame, there's about a 5 or 10 degree difference before the sock will melt. So that it's not hot.
So you had a
Yeah,
small
yes,
window.
to work with. I didn't know. So I tried, say, what is this going on? It's like so I look up everything. I start to look up different gel that can apply to the outside so it doesn't burn the socks. And if it doesn't burn the sock, and then it become a too it doesn't burn the sock, but it's not applying enough heat, so it's not dry on the outside. Long story short, hours and hours trying testing, and then I have to call the ink company, go around, ask them, all right, I need something stronger. So they put me to the chemist. I talked to the chemist, they mix a different ink. I went and tried again. Finally, after burning, I literally burned hundreds of socks to make a pair. Then I take that pair, I'll go to the local gym. I'll say, guy, this is a new barefoot socks. That, this whole idea of barefoot, I want you to try. And they say, all right, they keep seeing me here again. So they try, and as soon as they try it on, do a Turkish get up or kettlebell swing, the weight, you take somebody 180 pounds, you put some weight on it and they start to move, the ink just come right
Mm.
off. So here we're back to square one again. So I go back to my garage again, call up the guy again. Um,
And since the machine was burning the shoes, so as a trick to get more people to adopt the KINIS, this is what I would have done. I would have said, "Hey, give me your sneakers, and you could try these on." And so they try the KINIS on. I'd have their sneakers, and then I'd use my machine at home to burn their sneakers, so they had no choice but to use the KINIS shoes. And that would have been my method of adoption: is that I will you either buy or burn. That would be my slogan.